Randy, you think we're ready or
I think we're ready.
okay, okay. Um want to thank everybody first of all for taking the time to attend this webinar. We know what you guys are busy and we appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to attend our webinar. So my name is Jeff Sturman, and along with my wife, Ruth, we are the owners of Best Cruises and Cruises2Alaska.com. And as I said, first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time today to attend our Alaska webinar. We are thrilled to have so many people interested in learning about Alaska as a vacation destination. So my co-host today is Randy Dixon, and Randy is our
Hi, everybody.
She's our most experienced Alaska expert, a primary tour guide for our escorted Alaska cruise tours. And we will look forward to Randy joining us a little later in the presentation. She's actually getting ready now to host our first Alaska cruise tour for 2025. She'll be leaving in, I think, a little less than 2 weeks. And Randy has been hosting Alaska cruise tours for over 15 years. So um, she's getting ready now. So a little bit of housekeeping, guys. So for this event, participants will be muted. If you have a question, you can use the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom window. Type in questions at any time. And at the end of the presentation, we'll go over as many as we have time for. On our earlier presentation, we were able to get through all of the questions, and we had quite a few. Also, after the webinar, you'll get an email from us within a day or two with links to everything I'm about to go over. It will include detailed pricing, departure dates, details about our special offers, and our contact information. And okay, so for those of you that don't know us that well, Best Cruises and Tours have been in business for 32 years, and we've sent over 150,000 of your friends and neighbors on vacations all over the world. We're one of the largest independent volume agencies in New Jersey. We have a separate brand called Cruises2Alaska.com, and today that's going to be our focus. So here we are in May of 2025. For your information, we have discovered that people are extremely anxious to travel. The response to this webinar is really overwhelming, and we're thrilled. So if you remember, vacation travel ceased to exist from March 2020 for almost 2 years. Well, starting in 2023, travel started to come back. By 2024, last year, vacation travel had returned full throttle. Last year was a terrific travel year for us. And this year, 2025, looks to be one of our best years ever. And we are seeing signs that 2026 will be even stronger. Quite frankly, we have never been busier. So we all know that travel is an entitlement. It's something we have earned. We worked all our lives. And one of the reasons we've worked all our lives is so that we're able to see new things, travel, and enjoy new experiences. So the good news is that travel is happening again with almost no restrictions. So we're here today because we're interested in learning about Alaska as a travel destination. There's a disconnect. I want to see Alaska. I've heard about the mountains, the glaciers, the wildlife, the national parks, the Native American people there. It's on my bucket list. What's the best way to do it? Well, there are so many choices. Where do I begin? Well, you can always try to do it yourself. You can go on the internet or even engage AI or Google cruises to Alaska. In 2026, there will be 20 different cruise lines, more than 20, with multiple ships sailing in the Alaska itineraries. You can call one of these cruise lines directly, speak to one of their hourly employees who may or may not ever been to Alaska. So if you want to do this yourself, you can. But if we want to make your Alaska vacation a lifetime experience, you are in the right place. So today I'm going to talk about Alaska. I'm going to tell you a bit about who we are, Best Cruises and Tours. We'll talk about our partners for this particular destination, which is Princess Cruises and their Alaska program. We'll go over some special offers we put together for this webinar, and hopefully we'll have some time for questions and answers. And I promise you, by the time the end of this webinar happens, you will have a better understanding of Alaska as a vacation destination. Okay, so interest in Alaska has been growing over the last decade. The number of Alaska visitors that took a cruise as part of their itinerary to visit Alaska 2024 was 1.8 million. So why do you think that travel to Alaska continues to increase? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but there are, I think, three really important ones. Number one, there's a worry about climate change affecting the spectacular landscape of Alaska. Many of the glaciers are receding, and there are even reports of the permafrost being affected. The second reason is that we've seen attempts to open previously protected areas for oil drilling and mining, and those attempts have increased during the current administration specifically. Now, Alaska is a truly extraordinary place with its spectacular natural wonders, its open spaces, magnificent wilderness. People want to see Alaska before climate change, increased drilling and mining, and other environmental changes affect the spectacular landscape and wildlife as it is today. And another reason that travel to Alaska has been growing is that Alaska is an extremely safe travel destination right here in the United States. Very, very safe. Okay, so let's have a little history lesson. Alaska was unexplored when Secretary of State William Seward arranged for its purchase from Russia for $7.2 million. That was back in 1867. Price 2 cents an acre. That was the price. And at that time, it was considered one of the worst real estate deals ever. The purchase was widely ridiculed as Seward's folly. So here's the update on Seward's folly. Since the Alaska gold rush of 1880, almost $3 billion worth of gold has been mined. And in 1968, a large oil and natural gas reservoir near Prudhoe Bay on the Arctic coast up north was discovered with an estimated recoverable, ready, 10 billion barrels of oil and 27 trillion cubic feet of gas. So I guess 2 cents an acre, Alaska turned out to be a pretty good investment. Alaska is a land now where animals outnumber people. Nature is truly in charge. You will see pristine landscapes, majestic wildlife, scenic national parks, and fortress-like glaciers. So here are some fun facts about Alaska. It's huge. You could fit Texas into Alaska twice. Alaska is 1,400 miles north to south, 2,400 miles east to west, 1/5 the size of the continental United States. Alaska has the most and largest glaciers on Earth, 3 million lakes, 3,000 rivers, 70 volcanoes, fortunately not very active. And Alaska is the home of North America's highest mountain peak, which that's behind Randy. It's Denali at over 20,300 feet, and 19 of the 20 highest mountains are located in Alaska. And of course, Denali is in Denali National Park, which covers more than 6 million acres, the size of Massachusetts. Alaska has more wilderness than all the other 49 states combined. And of course, one of the most thrilling aspects of your visit to Alaska is the opportunity of observing Alaska's abundant wildlife in their natural habitats. Alaska is home to the longest the sheltered waterway on Earth. It's called the Inside Passage, and during the summer months, more than 2,000 humpback whales will feed in the waters off Alaska. And equally abundant are killer whales, belugas, dolphins, sea lions, seals, sea otters, and incredible diversity of birds. Alaska has the largest concentration of bears, bald eagles, salmon, and moose in the world. As a matter of fact, approximately 1,500 moose live within the Anchorage city limits, and there are more caribou than people in Alaska. Alaska's steeped in Native American culture. There are actually 11 major Native cultural groups. They've lived there for over 30,000 years, and Native Americans make up about 15% of the population of Alaska. Many of their traditions have survived, and they still are an important part of today's Alaskan culture. And of course, Alaska has tremendous significance for all of us being a major source of oil and natural gas here in the US. So the population of Alaska is just over 740,000 people. The fun fact is that 300,000 of the 740 live in Anchorage. Now, our office is located in New Jersey. The population of New Jersey is about 9 million. We could fit 75 New Jerseys in Alaska, and here is what a traffic jam in Alaska looks like. So I gave you some quick facts about Alaska. Now I'd like to give you some quick facts about Best Cruises, who we are. As I mentioned, we are a family-owned travel agency. We've been in business for over 32 years. We've evolved to be one of the larger volume, independently owned travel agencies in the Northeast. By this year's end, we will have sent over 150,000 guests, cruises, cruise tours, land vacations to itineraries all over the world. Antarctica, Europe, Orient, Africa, Caribbean, Hawaii, Australia, Tahiti, China, Japan, Bermuda, and of course, Alaska. We are members of the Better Business Bureau of Central New Jersey. We are rated A+, and we enjoy top producer status with most of the major cruise lines and travel suppliers. But our most important endorsements come from our thousands of satisfied guests. Our number one source of new business is repeat clients and their referrals. We are successful because of our dedicated commitment to service. And we have two rules that we live by. Number one, we treat all our clients' vacations as if they were our own vacation. And number two, we do not permit surprises unless they are good ones. So when we started our business in early 90s, Alaska had always intrigued me as a destination. I don't know why, it just had. And I made my first trip to Alaska 30 years ago, 1995. I was so impressed that we began booking vacations to Alaska immediately, and our business has been growing ever since. We developed an Alaska brand called cruisestoalaska.com, and we now hold the distinction of being one of the largest Alaska travel suppliers in the Northeast. To date, our agency has sent over 6,000 clients on memorable vacations to Alaska. We're members of the ATIA, that's the Alaska Tourism Industry Association. We're members of the ACVB, which is now called Visit Anchorage, which was the Anchorage Convention and Visitors Board. All of our senior advisors have been to Alaska and can offer insight based on firsthand experience. I personally have made over 40 trips to Alaska. I'm a certified Alaska expert with the Alaska State Travel Industry Association. Our co-host, Randy, who you met earlier, has been escorting Alaska tours for 15 years. So in case you haven't figured this out, Alaska is my favorite place in the whole world. So we know a little bit about Alaska and a little bit about who we are. And now I will tell you a little bit about our partners for this event and our preferred supplier for Alaska, which is Princess Cruises. 2026 season marks the 57th anniversary for Princess Cruises sailing in Alaska. In 2026, they have 8 ships departing from 5 convenient home ports: Seattle, Vancouver, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Anchorage. 180 cruise departures covering 18 different itineraries, plus over 20 different cruise tour itineraries. Now, our company does business with all the major suppliers, But the most important reason that we are talking about Princess in Alaska is that we have found they provide the highest levels of satisfaction and offer the best all-around seamless Alaska experiences. They built and operate their own purpose-built lodges. They have 5 of them, and own and operate some of the highest rated luxury rail cars in the industry, as well as their own fleet of deluxe motor coaches. So this ensures a seamless experience between the cruise and the transportation, whether it's the luxury coach or the domed rail cars and the lodges. As a matter of fact, Princess regularly has approximately 1,800 employees just devoted to the Alaska product in season. And all the Princess tours feature the 2 highest rated destinations in Alaska, Denali National Park and Glacier Bay National Park, on every single cruise tour itinerary. The Princess ships feature award-winning Alaskan experience called North to Alaska, which will immerse the guests in Alaska's culture, history, and natural beauty. There are naturalists and U.S. park rangers on board giving presentations on the wildlife, the glaciers, as well as local storytellers and other special guests. For example, Libby Riddles, who was an Iditarod champion, will come aboard to talk about her experience. Puppies in the Plaza will allow the guests to meet sled dog puppies and learn about dog mushing from expert handlers. There will be themed dining events, special excursions available. Princess has even formed a partnership with the Discovery Channel and Animal Planet, who create proprietary excursions exclusively for Princess guests. And since Princess has been cruising to Alaska for 57 years, they're able to get the best docking positions at the ports of call. And on the land portion, Princess features Alaskan guides and Alaska State Park rangers who are available every step of the way to enhance your Alaskan experience. Now, our relationship with Princess goes back close to 30 years, and we have evolved to be one of their top Alaska cruise tours producers. Well, we began working on our Alaska program about 1.5 years in advance before the first Alaska cruise sails. What we do is we review the extensive Princess Alaska product offerings, and based on our experience and our expertise, we select what we feel are the most important cruises and cruise tours. We customize them when necessary. We block space, negotiate special rates, so we can offer our clients the best selection of Alaska cruises and tours at the lowest possible prices. So let's start to take a look at some of the Princess Alaska vacation options. The simplest Alaska vacation is a 7-day cruise round trip from Seattle. This is an excellent choice for those clients that only have a limited amount of time and want to experience Alaska on a wonderful cruise ship with a terrific itinerary. And with Seattle as an arrival and departure port, it's the most convenient Alaska option as far as air arrangements goes. Everybody goes into Seattle. The 7-night cruise will start in Seattle, cruise north through the Inside Passage, make disembarkation sightseeing stops in the southeast towns of Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan, do a day of cruising into Glacier Bay National Park, make a stop in Victoria, British Columbia, and return to Seattle. 7 days. I'll get into a little more detail about those stops a little later in the presentation, but you'll notice also on the ship there are some Cruisefest specials. I'll explain a little bit more about that later, but they're included in every trip we're going to mention. There are other Alaska cruises that Princess offers as well. There's a 7-day Inside Passage from Vancouver. There's an 11-day Inside Passage round trip San Francisco, and others use some unique departures from Los Angeles. However, the cruise that Princess does that will see the most of Alaska in those Alaska towns, Skagway, Juneau, Ketchikan, Icy Strait, and it also includes a day of cruising through the Inside Passage as well. So let's remember that is called uh, the northbound or southbound. And the absolute best way to see Alaska is we combine this cruise, which is the Voyage of the Glaciers, that goes 1,325 miles along the coast with days of travel through the Alaska interior, and we call that a cruise tour. And this is where you really get to experience the glaciers, the mountains, the wildlife, and natural history that makes Alaska such a unique itinerary. So as I became more knowledgeable about Alaska, I developed a good idea of what I wanted our clients to experience on their Alaska vacation. When I researched what the different cruise lines and tour operators were offering, I never could find a perfect itinerary from their standard offerings. In other words, there were specific places and things I wanted our guests to experience on their Alaska vacation within a reasonable time frame. So I researched and even experienced the different cruise tour itineraries from all the Alaska suppliers. That was Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Holland America, Norwegian, Princess, and even some independent tour operators. And I could not find what I felt was the perfect itinerary, but Princess actually came the closest. So 20 years ago, I asked Princess if they would allow me to design a custom tour itinerary that would visit all the most important points of interest. This way, we get the best of both worlds. We would have the benefit of the wonderful Princess Alaskan expertise and infrastructure, but with a private itinerary that would make sure we would hit the most must-see Alaska attractions and would be designed exclusively for us at Best Cruises. Well, they agreed. And what we actually did was take the best of the Princess itineraries, upgraded them where needed, added exclusive amenities and enhancements to make them more guest-friendly. We set aside space on the ships, the trains, the lodges, and created a cruise tour that is actually a custom Princess cruise tour that is unavailable to anybody but Best Cruises clients. So 2026 is going to be the 21st year we're running this exclusive tour. We do it 3 times a season. This is our 14-day Heart of Alaska custom cruise tour. We're going to walk you through this tour so you can get an idea of what we feel are all the most important points of interest on any Alaska vacation. So, to give you an idea of what you should expect on this Alaska cruise tour, let's welcome back Randy, and that's our senior tour leader and Alaska expert, to walk you through this 6-night land program.
Thanks, Jeff. Hi, everybody. As Jeff said, I am Randy Dixon. I've been working for Best Cruises for 28 years, and I am the COO as well as the primary tour guide for our escorted custom Alaska cruise tour. I've been escorting this tour for more than 15 years, and I've been to Alaska more than 25 times. So please join me on this virtual journey through the land portion of this amazing adventure. So our tour is actually a southbound tour. What that means is we start in the most northern point, which is Fairbanks, and continue south, touring on the land for 6 nights, approximately 400 plus miles, and then sail from Whittier to all the way down to Vancouver on the 7-night Voyage of the Glaciers cruise. So you'll be covering about 1,700 miles via land and sea on this trip. So Fairbanks is Alaska's second largest city with a population of 32,156. It is located 188 miles from the Arctic Circle, so it experiences some of the wildest temperature swings in the world. I've been there in July when it was close to 90 degrees, think shorts, t-shirt weather, and in the winter months, it can go down as low as negative 50 degrees. Fairbanks has very long summer days. When we go in June, there is approximately 21 hours of daylight. So you can get a very nice tan at 10 o'clock at night. And I know that Jeff has actually teed off on the golf course at 10 p.m. in Fairbanks. So on our arrival day, we will be met at the Fairbanks Airport by the Princess staff, and they're going to transfer us to the Princess Riverside Lodge for the first of two overnights. This is a great property. It is ideally located right on the banks of the Chena River. On our first morning, after our included breakfast, we visit Gold Dredge number 8, a National Historic District, which offers a unique tour of Alaska mining history, and you get the opportunity to pan for gold, which is a blast. Now, my husband Rob has been with me on this tour over 20 times, and let's just say, despite a bit of gold fever, he still hasn't been able to quit his day job. We then head to Riverboat Landing for lunch and our afternoon cruise on the Riverboat Discovery, which is an authentic stern wheeler. On this cruise, you'll visit the home and kennels of Susan Butcher. She is the late four-time Iditarod winner, and you'll get to see her champion sled dogs in action. And then you'll be immersed in ancient Athabascan culture when our Alaskan native guides take us on a personalized tour of the Chena village. We arrive back at the Fairbanks Lodge in time for our included dinner, where I will be going over important information about the tour. We have our second overnight in Fairbanks, and the following morning, after our included tour breakfast, we board our coaches for our trip to Denali. We arrive at Denali Princess Lodge around noon, so there are quite a few restaurants where you can grab some lunch, including Fanny Q's, Grizzly Burger, Prospectors, and Link's Pizza. Now, I'm a Jersey girl and a pizza snob, and I can tell you that the pizza is actually quite good there. The Denali Lodge overlooks Denali National Park and the Nenana River. It's located just 1 mile from the entrance to the park, and it is the perfect launch point for our Denali experience. That afternoon, we have lots of time for optional activities. This is a terrific area for some of the active optionals, such as whitewater rafting, hiking, or even flight seeing. We can also take a complimentary shuttle to Denali National Park Visitor Center to learn more about the park by interacting with the park rangers, as well as exploring an exciting exhibit area. That evening, we have an included dinner at Denali Lodge's fine dining venue, King Salmon. On the following morning, we do our exploring deep into Denali National Park and Preserve. Denali National Park and Preserve encompasses an amazing 6 million acres of subarctic wilderness. It is the size of the state of Connecticut and home to Denali, North America's highest peak, soaring an unbelievable 20,320 feet into the sky. It's truly majestic. There is one road from the entrance of the park to its termination 90 miles away. The park hosts a wonderful array of wildlife. The Denali Big Five are bears, caribou, moose, gray wolves, and Dall sheep. The scenery is absolutely spectacular. This trip could wind up being one of the highlights of your Alaskan adventure. It's personally one of my favorite parts of the tour. Most of the tours into the park are 4 hours, and they're called a natural history tour, and they only go 17 miles into the park. However, our tour features a 6-hour tundra wildlife search that goes 43 miles into the park, which is actually as far as you can safely go into the park. The road is unpaved, and the tour is guided by a knowledgeable driver guide who is a trained interpretive naturalist. When he is able, he or she will take video footage of animals right along the park road and project these images onto drop-down video screens featured only on our specially designed tour buses. This way you get a close-up look of the roadside action. During the trip, there will be multiple stops with scenic overlooks and clean restrooms. All along the way, we have the opportunity, if the weather cooperates, to see Denali, the mountain. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, we don't always get to see it in all its glory as the mountain makes its own weather. But if we miss seeing it in the park, we will have additional opportunities along the way on the tour. After our Denali adventure, we head by motor coach to the beautiful Mount McKinley Wilderness Lodge. We arrive in time for dinner, which is another fine dining experience at the premier restaurant on the premises. We overnight at the McKinley Princess Lodge. That's our fourth night on the tour, which is the closest lodge to the mountain. It's located approximately 45 miles from the base of the mountain. So if we didn't get to see the mountain because of weather or cloud cover in Denali, here at the McKinley Lodge, we will have another opportunity. The McKinley Princess Lodge borders on the south side of Denali National Park on the banks of the Chulitna River, and it is truly a wilderness retreat. In the main lodge, there is a huge stone fireplace and enormous floor to ceiling windows that look out upon majestic Denali and the entire Alaska range, with one of the most inspirational views of the mountain found anywhere, weather permitting. You can even sign up to be notified if the mountain becomes visible at night. Remember, it's going to be light out. And they will call you in your room and you can head down to the main lodge in your PJs to grab some pictures. The lodge features U.S. National Park Ranger presentations, mountain climber talks, plus a variety of optional, exciting outdoor adventures. So after our overnight at the McKinley Lodge, we head to the town of Talkeetna to the rail station to board the train and head for Anchorage. Talkeetna is a quintessential Alaska town. It's where the climbers come in to register, to climb Denali, and the bush people come in to shower. If
Mhm.
you've ever seen the show Northern Exposure, the town on the show was based on Talkeetna. I highly recommend that everybody go into town a little early to explore the little shops, grab a drink or a bite at one of the microbreweries or restaurants, or even indulge in some Shirley's homemade ice cream, which never disappoints. We're then going to board our train, which includes ultra dome cars, which allow for unobstructed views of the Alaska spectacular scenery. I've actually seen a lot of moose off of this train. The train ride also features tableside beverage service and natural history narratives from the car managers. And each car has an open air viewing platform that allows you to step outside for a perfect picture or a breath of fresh air. We're on the train for approximately 3 hours. There's table service for drinks and snacks, or you can even experience a full meal in the dining car. We arrive in Anchorage about 5:30 in the evening and transfer to our hotel, the lovely Captain Cook Hotel, which, if you have seen the new show Alaska Daily, that was filmed in the Captain Cook Hotel, actually, and it is the highest rated hotel in Alaska. Anchorage is Alaska's largest city, and one of the first things you're going to notice is that Anchorage is surrounded by the majestic Chugach Mountains. That night, we're going to have a wonderful tour dinner at the hotel. The next morning, our tour takes us to the Native Heritage Center, where we will learn about Alaska Native traditions and tour life-size Native village sites and explore Native art and experience Native dancing and storytelling. That afternoon, we cut you guys loose to enjoy some time on your own in Anchorage. You can visit the world-class Anchorage Museum that features the Smithsonian Arctic Studies Center. You can experience Ship Creek, which is a salmon run right in the heart of the city. People actually salmon fish during lunch time. You can take a walk or bike ride on the Tony Knowles Coastal Trail. It's an 11-mile stretch that starts in downtown Anchorage and ends in Kincaid Park. It's Anchorage's prime moose viewing spot with spectacular panoramic views all along the way. Take a trolley ride around the city and surrounding area to learn about the history of Anchorage, or perhaps visit the zoo. That evening, we reconvene for a special farewell dinner at my favorite restaurant, the Glacier Brew House. We call it fine dining with sawdust on the floor. And we spend our second and final night in Anchorage. And this completes our 6-night land tour. In the late morning on day 7, we head for our ship in Whittier, which is the deep water port for Anchorage. It is a super scenic 2-hour drive down Turnagain Arm and past Portage Glacier. We board the ship in time for lunch, have a chance to explore a little bit, and after dinner, our ship will depart. I'm going to turn the presentation over to Jeff so he can review the 7-day cruise portion of our 14-day custom cruise tour with you.
Okay, all right, Rand. So we're all excited about the land program. I mean, I'm ready to. I'm doing the July trip, and can't wait to go back. So okay, so we have spent our 6 nights on the land, and we have traversed from Fairbanks all the way down to Whittier, which is the deep water port for Anchorage. And as Randy said, that little trip, it's in about an hour and a half from Anchorage to Whittier, super scenic coach ride going through Anton Anderson Memorial Tunnel, going past glaciers. It's just gorgeous. Anyway, we board the ship, as Randy said, in time for lunch, have a chance to explore a little bit, and after dinner, our ship will depart. And after the first night, our first full day at sea, we visit Hubbard Glacier. So this is our first day of glacier viewing. Hubbard Glacier is located in Yakutat Bay. It's close to 80 miles long from its source in Canada's Yukon Territory, and actually is the longest tidewater glacier in Alaska. It has an open calving face of over 6 miles, and the ship will get as close as is safe, and the onboard naturalist will take over the bridge and explain the amazing surroundings, and he will also be doing enrichment talks in the theater. Overnight, in our second day, we will enter Glacier Bay National Park for our second day of glacier viewing. Now, Glacier Bay National Park, environmentally sensitive, so the National Park Service only allows 2 large ships a day, and Princess is one of the very few cruise lines that has these permits. Okay, that's one of the main reasons that Princess is our preferred Alaska supplier. Going into Glacier Bay is super important. 3.3 million acres, more actively calving tidewater glaciers than anywhere else in the world. And U.S. park rangers come aboard and narrate our transit through the waters, do enrichment lectures in the theaters, set up a national parks area to interact with you guys, the guests. And the ship will linger a full hour in front of the Grand Pacific and Marjorie glaciers, waiting, hoping that the glaciers will calve. Calve is when the ice falls off the glaciers. The Marjorie Glacier, which is the super viewing glacier, is 1 mile wide, 25 stories high, and one of Alaska's most active glaciers. And that's at the end of Glacier Bay. This day also, as Randy said, the trip into Denali could be one of the highlights. This day as well could be one of the highlights. So we've done 2 spectacular days of glacier cruising, and our first disembarkation stop, where we get off and go sightseeing, will either be in Skagway or Icy Strait Point, depending on which of the cruise tours that you decide to do. On our May departure, it will be Skagway, and our July and August departures, it will be Icy Strait Point. Now, Skagway retains the flavor of the gold rush of the late 1800s. It's preserved as a National Historic Park, features one of the oldest narrow gauge railroads in the country. It was the gateway to the Klondike for the Stampeders in the late 1890s, and in its heyday, this rough and tumble frontier town boasted more than 80 bars. Tiny little town with 80 bars. Today it's a recreated gold rush town, rustic boardwalks, frontier-style storefronts. Now, if our itinerary is taking us to Icy Strait Point is a unique destination. It's located near Hoonah, which is a Tlingit Native American village. One of the top attractions is the Zip Rider. It has the world's largest zip line, 5,300 feet, with a 1,300-plus foot vertical drop. Also, the whale watching is excellent. There's bear viewing. There's cultural experiences, outdoor adventures such as ATV, kayaking, nature trail hikes, also available in Icy Strait Point. Our next stop is Juneau, and Juneau is the state capital and Southeast Alaska's largest town. It was founded as a gold mining camp, 1880, built into the side of the mountain. As you could see, spectacular views of Mount Juneau and Mount Roberts. It is, interestingly enough, the most isolated state capital in the United States. It's only accessible by plane or by boat. And there's actually a glacier in the Juneau city limits. It's 13 miles from the city center. It's Mendenhall Glacier. It's about 12 miles long and 1.5 miles wide. And you could see the glacier. You could take a float trip. You could do a flight seeing adventure. You could hike up one of its trails for a closer inspection. Or if you just wanted to take a coach to the visitor center, it's filled with photos and information. But one of the more spectacular excursions is a helicopter flight over the Juneau ice fields with a glacier landing. The Juneau ice field is larger than the state of Rhode Island. So Juneau is just a wonderful, wonderful stop. We find some of our, also whale watching is some of our best opportunities for whale watching as well. I've seen some amazing behavior of whales out in the Ork Bay in Juneau. And next stop is Ketchikan, and Ketchikan is set in the middle of the largest national forest in the United States. It's called the Tongass National Forest, more than 500 miles along Alaska's Inside Passage. And interestingly enough, it is a temperate rainforest as opposed to the tropical rainforest we know about in South America and Central America. Now, Ketchikan was originally a Native American fishing camp and boasts one of the world's largest collections of totem poles. And Ketchikan also had a rough and ready past, and in its heyday boasted more than 30 brothels in this little town. They actually do a tour called Creek Street where you can tour these old brothels. Okay, we then, after our stop in Ketchikan, we continue on through the Inside Passage. We actually have a day to kind of gather up and finish our trip, 7 nights in Vancouver. And Vancouver is just a gorgeous city. And that is the Best Cruises 14-day custom Alaska cruise tour. 6 nights on the land, 7 nights on the cruise. So we have 3 departure dates for this tour, as you can see. We have one in late May, we have one in July, and we have one in August. And prices will range from $29.99 per person based on double occupancy for our most reasonable stateroom on the May departure, which is an interior stateroom, and escalates all the way up from there. And so important is that if you decide to take this tour, you will have a Best Cruises Alaska specialist that will escort the land program. On the land, the group will travel together with an escort. Well, of course, not everyone can go away for 14 days. Princess offers some shorter cruise tours, and our favorite includes an 11-night cruise and land package that features 4 nights on the land and 7 nights on the cruise. This option is great for those folks who do not have a full 2 weeks. And as these trips are shorter and with less inclusions, they do intend to cost less. We don't recommend any tours on land that are less than 4 days. The distances are too far apart, and all you're doing is running. You don't get a chance to see anything. So the minimum land program would be 4 days attached to a 7-night cruise. Now, of course, there are other packages, itineraries available for all special interests in Alaska. If we haven't touched on your special interest, please contact us. We are the Alaska expert. So let's recap the special offerings for our 2026 we have discussed. Number one, we have our 14-day custom Alaska cruise tour that sees it all. 6 nights on the land with 9 meals included, custom itinerary not available anywhere else, an escort and tour guide on the land, plus that 7-night voyage of the glaciers with 2 full days of escorted glacier viewing. We just discussed the 11-night package, 7-night voyage of the glaciers and 4 nights on land, featuring Denali National Park and Fairbanks, or Denali National Park on Anchorage. That's the 7 nights on cruise, 4 nights on land. And then we touched upon a 7-night round trip Seattle Inside Passage cruise. So we conduct these webinars to give you guys the opportunity to learn about the different options. Pick the trip that's most suitable and get them organized and booked with the best available prices, amenities, and choice of staterooms. Alaska 2026 has been booking extremely well. Space is disappearing as we speak. And so if you're interested in going to Alaska in 2026, I'm telling you now is the time to get organized. Within the next couple of days, you're going to be receiving a link via email go to our Cruises to Alaska website page to review the trips, review the pricing, review the details. All the prices for the Alaska departures are listed on our website. Those prices reflect the Princess Standard pricing. Princess Standard includes your accommodation, the dining, the access to the onboard entertainment. It's designed for travelers who prefer a straightforward cruise experience without the additional cost of premium amenities. But in addition, Princess has 2 amenity packages that are available for purchase other than the Princess Standard. They're called Princess Plus and Princess Amenity packages. And among them, it includes the beverages, it includes Wi-Fi, it includes the crew appreciation, which are the gratuities on the ship. It includes some specialty dining. And we recommend when you give us a call, we can discuss the 3 different Princess packages, the Standard, the Premium, and the Princess Plus. So all our webinar attendees today, we have some show specials. The specials are as follows. First of all, for any of the trips, whether it's a 7-day cruise or the 14-day cruise tour, there's a refundable deposit, reduced deposit of $100 a person. That deposit is a no-risk cancel. There's a no-risk cancellation. Anytime up until the final payment date, which is 90 days before departure, you can say, I just changed my mind, we're not going to go. And the $100 per person deposit is refunded. Once 90 days comes, before departure, the final payments are due, and then we know we're moving forward. At that time, we also would recommend travel insurance. We have some coupon books that will be a benefit for some onboard savings, and any reservation, whether it's a 7-night cruise or whether it's a 14-day cruise tour, will have a $100 stateroom onboard credit for their cruise portion. So these are the special offers for our Cruisefest participants that make their reservations on or before May 30th. That's the cutoff date for this stuff. So tonight we heard about Alaska, we heard about Princess, we heard about us, Best Cruises and Tours. We'll be sending you an email with links to all this information, including detailed pricing and preferred sailing dates for everything we went over. You should receive it within the next 48 hours. Actually, what you're going to get, if you wanted to see this presentation again, you'll be getting a link for that as well. And here is our contact information coming. Feel free to reach out by phone, by email, or you can visit us on the web at cruisestoalaska.com. We will connect you to one of our Alaska experts that can answer all of your questions and help you get your Alaska vacation organized. Just a reminder, reserve the space. Requires just $100 per person deposit that is fully refundable up to 90 days before your departure in 2025. Okay, looks like we do have some time for our questions. And
Jeff, I can answer some of these. I saw somebody ask dates for 2026, and I apologize. It looks like there was an error on the slide for the dates. So those dates are actually our 2026 dates, and that would be May 31st, July 5th, and August 2nd. Those are our 2026 dates. Also, I'll just answer a few of these, Jeff, then I'll let you answer a few of them. Is there assigned seating on the train? Yes, there is. As a matter of fact, you get tickets for the train and you will get a seat number on the train. We have our own rail car on the train, so it will be Best Cruises clients only. However, you will have assigned seating on the train. There is a question.
And all the seats are above in the domed area. There's no seats below.
Correct. Will our luggage be on the ship when you get on? So the situation with the luggage, when we are on the land portion of the tour, our luggage actually travels separately from us. So what a lot of people do, so in other words, we put our luggage out every day, and when we get to the next lodge, our luggage will be in our room or shortly in our room at the next lodge. Sometimes people like to bring an extra bag with clothes for the ship, and we can actually send that bag directly to the ship, and it will be kept in a locked area. And so when you get on the ship, that bag will be in your room. So yes, that is the case with the luggage. So I also see a question about, are there Indian vegetarian options available? Absolutely. So I am the COO and I am the logistics organizer for all of the cruise tours. And so I manage all the food with our food and beverage managers. And so we can manage Indian vegetarian, we can manage any kind of dietary restriction. So that is not an issue at all. Go ahead, Jeff. You can answer some of these others.
So I see a couple of comments about single occupancy, and so there is on these tours, there's no specific single supplement, but what you would need to do is to call and speak to one of our Alaska experts. We've done some things where we were able to manage some of that. But I would definitely give a call. There is no single supplement that's available as we speak. But as I said, I would give the call and speak to one of our experts. They'll see what they could do. Somebody's asking about pricing for the balcony, July 5th. That will be on the website. You will get a link. You'll be able to look all that. Restrooms on the buses and trains. On the train for sure. On the buses, you really don't need restrooms because there's no the trip into Denali. There's every, I would say, hour and a half. There's a stop at a very clean rest area, and otherwise there's no further than an hour and a half that you're on any of the coaches or the train. Well, the trains has restrooms that you're not going to have a restroom available.
But there usually are restrooms available on the coaches, Jeff, especially when we're going to Denali, like from Fairbanks to Denali. Correct. So will we be able to select the rooms like middle of the ship? Absolutely.
Well, that's why we're doing this now. Yes. That's why we're doing this now.
Yes. So because the reason that we're doing this so early to get people organized early is so that you can have the advantage of picking the room that you want and getting the best availability on the ships when you make the deposit. So yes, you will be able to pick a stateroom. And so Jeff, there's a question here, airfare discounts. Why don't you talk about the Princess Air program?
Yes, Princess has an excellent, but first of all, you can't even start to look at the air until 330 days out before. That's when the airlines create their schedules. But Princess has an excellent program. It's called can't remember the name. It's
Air Plus.
No. It's called whatever it is. They have an excellent air program where you can actually go online, or we can help you go online. You can't do this now. I got to wait till 330 days out. Easy Air, it's called. And
Yes.
you'll be able to get an air schedule locked in. And the nice thing about it is you don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to pay for it until the final payment for your cruise, which once again is 90 days before you go. So you can lock in an air schedule and then keep looking to see if a better fare comes through, if a better schedule comes through. Just eliminate the one that's there and put the new one on. And our Alaska people can help you do that. So very rarely can you lock in a flight without having to pay for it, but you can do this with this particular program. So
Um,
I'm seeing with additional discount of 4 person, absolutely there is a the third and fourth guests go at a much more reasonable rate than
I'm
the
seeing
first.
type of weather in the middle of August. So the weather in Alaska, my favorite saying about Alaska is if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. We are traveling tremendous distances. So the weather in Fairbanks could be very different, let's say, from the weather in Anchorage. I would say in the middle of August, you're talking 50s, 60s, and it could be 70s even, but we're starting to get into that's their fall in the middle of August. So again, what I always tell people is it's a casual environment, and Alaska is all about the layers, right? So I wear sometimes like I'll wear a hoodie and I'll have a t-shirt underneath, and then as the day gets warmer I can take the hoodie off. Remember, we're going to have dedicated buses so we can leave stuff on the buses as well. So weather in Alaska varies greatly, but typically in August, I'm going to say 50s, 60s with the possibility of some 70s.
The other nice thing about August is that the amount of daylight starts to become a little bit more what we are used to. Whereas in June, you're gonna have 20 when you're up in Fairbanks, 22, 23 hours. It'll never get dark. It gets a little dusky. I've played golf in Fairbanks at 12 midnight um, in June. July, it gets a little bit more dark, and then in August, one of the nice things about August is there is the possibility occasionally of seeing the Northern Lights because it does get dark enough at night. So that's an interesting fact about August. August also gets a little more precipitation than June or July. Okay. I'm looking at a question about the $100 stateroom onboard credit. So what that means is when you get on the ship, you're going to have things that you may want to spend money on. In other words, a gift shop, you may want to get something at a gift shop. If you have not taken one of the beverage packages, if you're going to get a glass of wine, you're going to get sodas, they charge you. If you're not going to take the one of the packages and you want Wi-Fi, so this goes towards those expenses.
Or excursions.
Yeah, excursions, everything. So it's $100 comes off your bill on the ship for the stateroom. Let's
So
see.
the princess upgrade prices. So I believe it's going to be on the material that you get from us in the email. It was actually on the slideshow, but I know we went through that pretty quickly. But if you call to book your room, you can go over all of the package details with our Alaska experts, and they will be able to kind of guide you to which package might suit you the best for
Or
your
not,
particular
or not.
needs.
There's some
Right.
cases where package is not relevant for guests. So, but they'll be able to help you with all that stuff.
Also, would it be possible to get there a couple days early to see more than meetup? Yes, we can arrange pre-nights. So that is a possibility. And as a matter of fact, I would say at least 50% or more of our guests do at least one pre-night in Fairbanks. Fairbanks. And yes, you can purchase a single night of upgraded dining on the ship. And somebody also asked, are the scheduled times for dining on the ship? So you can do an open dining situation, or I believe, Jeff, if I'm correct, there's first or second dining as well, correct?
Actually, Princess has where you can dine whenever you want to dine, and you do that. Princess has a wonderful app. It's called a Medallion, and you can through that you can arrange whatever dining you want to do with whomever you want to do it. It's there's this and we can guide you with that stuff. So it doesn't have Princess does not necessarily have the traditional early dining at 6, late dining at 8.
Right.
They have it's really you can go whenever you want to go. And as I said, our experts can help you. And there's a very simple way that you can manage this. So
You have how many people on the ship question, Jeff?
That's a great question. There are 3 different ships, 2 different ships, and I'm going to have to defer to the call. They'll have to call but I can just tell you that the Princess ships are not these monstrosities with 6,000 people. They're good-sized ships. I would say you're probably talking in the 3,000 range passenger ships, and there are 2 different ships. There's one that goes in May, and there's the other one that is the other 2 departures. But once again, I'm going to defer to the call, and one of our experts will be able to tell you all about the ship, when it was built, how many exactly. I would say that you're talking about ships with about 3,000 people on them.
And when do we get the coupon books is another question.
Coupon books will come before we travel, and it'll be a virtual. They'll get it emailed.
And one more question, which I'll answer. Are there any extras like entrance fees? There are no entrance fees on the land portion of the tour. Okay, the only extras would be if you decided to do a special excursion, let's say like go whitewater rafting when you're in Denali. That would be an extra fee. But as far as everything on the tour, getting into the parks, all of that stuff, that is all included in the tour pricing. All of the activities are included in the tour pricing.
Yes. So everything that we discussed today, all the dinners, all the excursions, everything that we talked about is included in this tour. As Randy said, there are options that you can do. You don't have a lot of time. Like on the land, we have you busy. I can think of just 1 or 2. When you're in Denali, you have an afternoon. Next day, you're busy. You're going into the park. You're going to McKinley. So there's a few periods of time on the land program where you could do something optional. But most of the time, you're busy with stuff that's included in the tour. On the cruise portion is a little different. Now, the cruise portion is you're kind of on your own with the excursions. So whatever you want to do in the different ports of call, you will organize online and see what what you want to do. And they vary from wild to mild. So you can in Juneau, you could rappel down the glacier, or you could take a coach to the visitor center and see the glacier. So on the land portion, you're pretty busy. We've got you pretty busy. On the cruise portion, yes, there are different optional excursions, and we don't do those because everybody is different and everybody wants to see their own stuff. There's some people going there for the fishing. Some people are going there just to see the Native American culture. So the cruise portion is, you guys kind of on your own with what the excursions you want to do.
And finally, I'm just going to answer this question. I think Paul Tucker asked how many people are on the tour. So what we do is we max max our land portion out at usually right around 80 guests. So it's 2 coaches. There's plenty of room then to spread out on each coach because they fit 50 to 55 people. And we find that that's a great number. And we've been doing it that way for a long time. And it is a great experience for everybody. So we max them out at 80 people per
It's really two
tour.
buses. It's 2 buses of 40 people.
Correct.
Each bus has one of our directors on it.
Correct.
Okay, so I think, listen, we're just thrilled with your interest. We hope we covered as much as we could. As I said, we have terrific Alaska experts that are on. They'll be on duty tomorrow. Just give a call, and you will expect to get from us, as I said, all the information that you'll be able to go online and have a look at. But as I said, there's for the certain specific things, definitely give us a call. Listen, I want to thank everybody.
Jeff, I'm just going to answer one question because somebody
Yes.
said, so for land portion excursion at 80 people, is it first come, first serve? Everybody, so it's 80 people, it gets maxed out. So once we hit 80, that date is sold out. Everybody on the land tour has the same experience, the same excursions, the same experience. They have a tour guide, myself or Jeff, where there's somebody on each bus. You will have the same experience. But once we hit that 80 in sales, we close that date.
Yeah, just to where we got that number is we've been doing this, for multiple years, and we picked a number whereas we do not stress the facilities.
Right.
Okay, so what we have really is a tour bus of 40, which is like what Tauk does. That they max their buses. If you don't know who Tauk is, they're a very fine upscale tour operator. So we're really dealing with buses that have 40 guests in them, and we have 2 of those. And this is where we do not stress the facilities because you're not in Manhattan, or you're not in Philadelphia or Boston. You're in the middle of the wilderness. So we have to make sure, and this number has come from our experience and our discussions with the general managers of the lodges, which we have personal relationships with.
All right, guys.
All right.
Well, listen, thanks for attending the webinar. I hope to see some of you guys in 2026 on one of my tours. And you guys have a great night, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Yeah, and I'm thrilled that you came, and I hope you guys enjoyed our webinar, and look forward to hearing from you tomorrow. Thank you, and a good night.